I'm Joel McCower. We're talking about what will it take to make aviation sustainable with Nora Lovell Marchant, Vice President of Global Sustainability for American Express Global Business Travel. What are the conversations you're having with your corporate customers about the need to make aviation more sustainable?
As corporations seek to decarbonize, and as corporations seek to pursue the carbon targets that they have set, Scope 3, or their value chain emissions, constitute a majority of their emissions. So in order for companies to decarbonize, they need to focus on employee business travel. I think that environmental sustainability has become a top corporate agenda with prioritization by senior leadership at the highest levels of the company. Corporations want to ensure that the trips that their employees taking are the most sustainable trips possible.
So most of that's on the demand side. What about on the supply side? For example, what's the role of airlines right now? So CORSIA is a compliance standard. What about airlines that want to go beyond that to be seen as true leaders? What can they be doing right now?
I think there's a growing recognition amongst airlines that the standards set by CORSIA are perhaps not ambitious enough. And similarly, the goals that have been set by IATA, the International Air Transport Association, are not aggressive enough. So there are airlines that are going above and beyond and doing more to decarbonize aviation at a faster pace.
I would imagine that all of this is changing how corporate procurement of travel services is being handled. How are you working differently now with companies?
There has been a huge accelerated focus on procuring green. Procurement professionals need to align their corporate objectives with the climate goals that their company have set. These targets are part of business decisions and capital allocation decisions that are being made today. I would encourage corporations to think big picture and to think about the theory of change. Because you shuffling a couple business travelers from one airline to another on a particular route, that's probably imperceptible to the airline at a macro level. And that's not going to make them change their fleet replacement cycles, and it's not going to make them change their behavior. What is required is open and explicit collaboration with your value chain partners.
What is your experience in offering carbon offsets to customers in terms of their response and how they see that as part of the solution?
So carbon offsets can play a critical role in a corporate strategy so long as they are part of a larger picture, and that includes reducing carbon emissions. But they cannot be used as a replacement for carbon reductions.
So Nora, when you talk about sustainable aviation fuel, shouldn't it be the airlines to take the lead on that? Why should corporations have to play a role?
The first SAF flight was flown in 2008. That was 13 years ago. There is a supply problem because there is a demand problem. And there are not currently clear demand signals that are sending the right messages to producers to make more SAF. So there needs to be an unlocking of those investors that are sitting on the sidelines. And those investors could be corporations who are flying their employees around the world on these airlines. So there's a real opportunity here for corporations to help break this chicken and the egg issue.
So if I'm the head of travel buying at a large corporation, this all sounds really complicated. What's one thing that I can do that would push the market more towards sustainable solutions?
The one thing that travel buyers can do is to take action today while planning for tomorrow. And that means purchasing offsets today, because you can take your company carbon neutral today and also plan for the future by investing in sustainable aviation fuel. Because SAF has the potential to reduce carbon life cycle emissions by up to 80%. And that is the answer to aviation sector-wide decarbonization.
So Nora, why not just stop traveling altogether? I mean, the greenest trip is the one you never have to take. We've been Zooming and Skyping and meeting and hanging out all these months. Why not just stick with that?
We've all seen what happens when borders are closed and when airplanes are grounded. It's absolutely devastating to the global economy. So will there be a degree of reduction associated with business travel because of COVID-19? I think that for a period of time, you will see a shift from globalization to deglobalization, or you will see a degree of, nearshoring instead of offshoring, or insourcing instead of outsourcing because people want to control the resiliency of their supply chains. But eventually, these forces are going to reach equilibrium. At American Express Global Business Travel, we truly believe that travel is a force for good. And that's because travel has an unparalleled power to open minds, to connect humans, to connect markets, and to increase global prosperity.